Let me begin with a question that most people avoid asking themselves. Why is it that your life looks almost the same today as it did 5 years ago, maybe even 10? Not exactly the same on the surface. The years passed. The calendar changed. Some details shifted. But deep down, the same struggles, the same level of income, the same frustrations, the same feeling that you should be further ahead by now. And that feeling is not random. It's your awareness telling you something important. You see, time alone does not change a life. Years do not transform a person. Birthdays do not create progress. Only decisions do. And more specifically, only new decisions repeated consistently. Most people think change comes from a big moment, a big opportunity, a big break. But that's a myth. Real change is usually quiet, slow, almost invisible in the beginning. And because it's invisible, most people never stay with it long enough to see the results. So they keep doing what they've been doing, hoping that somehow one day life will look different. But hope without change is a dangerous comfort. Let me tell you something clearly. If you do in the next 5 years exactly what you did in the last 5, your life will not change. Not because you are incapable, not because you are unlucky, but because you repeated the same patterns, same habits, same thinking, same standards, same use of time. And life always rewards patterns, not intentions. You don't get a new life by wishing for it. You get a new life by living differently. Now here's the hard part. Most people don't lack knowledge. They lack implementation. They know what they should do. They just don't do it consistently. They know they should read more, think more, plan more, discipline themselves more. But knowing and doing are worlds apart. And that gap is where years disappear. So if your life hasn't changed in years, it's not because change is impossible. It's because your daily routine has been voting for the same future over and over again. And the future always listens to the votes you cast daily. Now the good news, if repetition created your current life, then repetition can create a new one. Not massive effort, not dramatic risk, but small disciplines practiced every day. And that's what we're going to talk about, because once you understand why your life hasn't changed, you also discover exactly how to make it change. Let me tell you the first and most common reason your life hasn't changed. You've been living the same day over and over again. Different dates on the calendar, same routines, same reactions, same priorities. And a year made of the same day, repeated, becomes a decade that looks the same. Most people don't design their lives, they relive them. They wake up, go through the motions, handle what's urgent, get tired, go to sleep, and call that progress. But activity is not advancement. Movement is not growth. If you don't change what you do daily, time will not magically upgrade your results. Time only multiplies what you're already doing. If you're practicing poor habits, time makes the damage worse. If you're practicing good habits, time makes the results better. Time is neutral. It simply amplifies patterns. And here's the painful truth. Most people are not stuck because of one big mistake. They're stuck because of thousands of small, comfortable choices, comfortable mornings, comfortable evenings, comfortable excuses. They don't fail dramatically. They fade gradually. They tell themselves, I'll start when things calm down. I'll change when I have more time. I'll focus when I feel more motivated. But calm never comes. Time never frees itself. Motivation never stays. So the days keep repeating. Let me put it this way. If today looks exactly like yesterday and tomorrow will look exactly like today, what do you think next year will look like? The same. Change does not come from waiting. It comes from interrupting the pattern. New actions, new disciplines, new standards. Until something changes in your routine, nothing changes in your results. And that's why years pass without real progress. Not because you are incapable, but because you have been consistent with the wrong things. Now let's look at the second reason your life hasn't changed. Your standards haven't changed. You've grown older. You've gained experience. But what you tolerate, what you accept, what you allow in your life has stayed the same. And life never rises above your standards. Most people don't get what they want. They get what they are willing to live with. They live with disorganized days. They live with poor health habits. They live with money stress. They live with unfulfilled potential. Not because they love it, but because they've become accustomed to it. And whatever you become accustomed to, you stop questioning. You see, real change begins the day you decide this is no longer acceptable. Not someday, not next year. Now, when your standards rise, your behavior changes automatically. You don't negotiate with yourself as much. You don't tolerate excuses as easily. You don't settle as quickly. You start asking different questions. Why am I allowing this? Why am I living below what I know I'm capable of? Why am I repeating habits that don't move me forward? Age doesn't improve your life. Standards do. And if your standards remain the same, your life will remain in the same range. Not because you lack potential, but because you have not demanded more from yourself. Now let's talk about the third reason your life hasn't changed. You've been busy, but you haven't been intentional. And there's a big difference. Busy people are always doing something. Intentional people are doing the right things. Most people fill their days with activity. Emails, messages, meetings, responsibilities, problems. They go to bed tired and say, I worked hard today. But hard work without direction does not guarantee progress. You can be busy for years and still be standing in the same place. Because busyness is not the same as growth. Intentional living means you decide in advance what deserves your time, your energy, your focus. It means you don't just react to life, you design it. Most people let the urgent replace the important. They take care of what screams the loudest, but they postpone what matters most: reading, thinking, planning, learning, developing new skills. Those things are quiet. They don't demand attention. So they get neglected, and what gets neglected never grows. Let me say this clearly. If you don't take control of your time will control you. And when your time controls you, your life stays on autopilot. Years pass, but nothing really changes, because nothing was ever planned to change. Being intentional means asking yourself, what am I building with my days? What am I becoming by what I repeat? Where's my life actually going? Without intention, life doesn't move forward. It just moves on. And that is why many people look back after years and say, I don't know where the time went. The time went into unplanned living. Now let's look at another reason your life hasn't changed. You've been waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the right mood, waiting for confidence to arrive first. But motivation is a visitor. It comes and goes. Discipline is a resident. It stays. Most people live their lives at the mercy of how they feel. When they feel good, they act. When they feel tired, they stop. When they feel discouraged, they wait. And so progress becomes inconsistent. But life does not reward good intentions. It rewards consistent behavior. Let me tell you something important. You will never feel like doing everything that needs to be done to change your life. If you wait until you feel like it, you will wait forever. Discipline means you do what is necessary even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring, even when the results are not yet visible. That's how momentum is built. Small actions, repeated daily, regardless of mood. Most people try to change their life by changing their feelings. Successful people change their life by changing their habits. They act first, and the feelings follow. If your life hasn't changed in years, it may be because your actions have depended on emotion instead of commitment. You haven't lacked potential. You've lacked structure. And structure is what turns good intentions into real progress. Now let me give you the final and perhaps most important reason your life hasn't changed in years. You've been working hard on your life, but not hard enough on yourself. You've been focused on the outside. Your job, your bills, your responsibilities, your circumstances. But the outside can only change when the inside changes first. Your income will not consistently rise above your level of thinking. Your results will not stay higher than your level of discipline. Your future will not grow beyond your level of personal development. That's not a judgment. That's a law. For things to change, you must change. For things to get better, you must get better. And most people delay that work. They say, I'll work on myself when things calm down, when I have more time, when life is easier. But life rarely gets easier first. You get stronger first. You become wiser first, more disciplined first, more intentional first. Then life responds. Let me put it simply. If you are the same person this year as you were last year, you will live the same life. But if you grow in your thinking, in your habits, in your standards, in your skills, your life has no choice but to grow with you. Now here is the hopeful part. Change does not require a dramatic beginning. It requires a decisive one. One decision to stop repeating the same days. One decision to raise your standards. One decision to become intentional. One decision to build discipline. One decision to work on yourself every day. Not perfectly, but consistently. You don't need a new environment. You don't need a new personality. You don't need a new past. You need a new pattern, because your future is not created in a single moment. It is created in the small, quiet decisions you repeat every day. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look back and realize it wasn't luck that changed your life. It wasn't time. It was the moment you decided to stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. And that moment can be today.